on their gifts and skills. And then from there, you have stringers, and the stringers would be like the local currency system. And so as you do each of these segments, you're building, but everything's based upon individuals being responsible, because you have to have people be noble. Because no system will work if the people aren't noble. Even like a gold system, if people aren't noble, there's going to be people hoarding the gold, and then other people will be starving. So it all comes down to the idea that we need to be kings, and because we're issuing our own money, we'll be like kings and queens. But you have to be noble, and the foundation of that is one's oath is their bond.
Yeah.
And that's really the core of what money is. It's an IOU. If you and I had a barter, one barter equals 2 IOUs. So if I was trading you a chair for a TV, and you had the TV, I go, I owe you a chair, and then you would issue an IOU, I owe you a TV. So it's those IOUs, we could write them out. We could shake hands, and then we can write them out, but that IOU is actually the money, and then the commodity is the chair and the TV. So it's important to distinguish.
Was it you that was it you that made that chicken dollar video?
Yeah.
I watched that last night. I thought it sounded like you.
Yeah, but it's really like once you understand that when people, we need gold for money, like, no, you got it wrong. Gold is the commodity. Gold is the chair. Gold is the TV. Gold isn't the money. The IOU is the money. Because even if we traded, you had a gold piece and I had 15 pieces of silver, and then we agreed for a barter, we would still issue those IOUs.
Okay.
So that's a really good way of, like, if you know that part of money, then you can break down and anybody that says, like, commodities are money, it's wrong. Commodities are not money any more than, a chair. A chair isn't money. And you don't want any individual thing to be it, because whoever monopolizes the gold or silver or Bitcoin or the cannabis or whatever, they will then control that society, because they'll monopolize the entire money system. So anyway, the point I was getting at is it really comes down to is getting that foundation up and having a fixed unit value currency. And as far as I can figure out, as much as I keep looking at it, is only time does that. Only hours do that.
Yep.
And
because time is money.
You can set it up. What's that?
Time is money.
Yeah. But you can set it up that 1 hour per hour is just for the most unskilled kid. Like, that's what you pay teenagers to do while they're mowing lawns or whatever. That's the minimum wage, let's call it. And you can make that the fixed value forever. So that forever, and there's never ever inflation ever. And that hour that is issued locally with this system, with that bottom-up network, with top-down oversight to make sure that there's no corruption in any particular network, you could set up an international system that your hours issued locally can be spent globally forever and ever, with no inflation, with no currency exchange fees, no interest, and almost next to no taxes. You really wouldn't need much any taxes either.
Yep.
So anyway, the stumbling block really is just getting the software made.
Right.
So,
how do you get people that are used to getting more than $10 an hour to get involved in it and accept it for what it is and without money?
Well, we don't require that. That's minimum. So if somebody gets $150 an hour, they make 15 hours per hour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we never had a problem like getting docked. Like, we had a couple mechanics, and I charged more than that for doing video editing. That was my business within Mountain Hours. So, and I charge more than $10 an hour. So,
Are there people that ever ask for like cash tips or like any cash at all? Or are they pretty much?
yeah, it comes down to whoever's accepting mountain hours. They decide what percentage that they're going to receive. If there's some businesses that would take 100%, just like 100% barter.
Yeah.
And there's some that would do like 50%. So anyway, the business owner would make the decision.
Okay. And where do you start from though? Like I'm at the bottom where I really don't have anyone involved, but I have it all set up. Like I have the website. The website's like it's ready for like people to post assets, to post their skills, and to exchange the assets and to use the currency digitally. But I don't have like physical dollars printed out. But there is a way for people to go on with their phones and actually exchange the currency. How do you get the first groups of people to get in? I would imagine you have to get regular people before you do the businesses, right?
No. I got businesses. I pretty much only recruited businesses.
Oh, wow.
Because it doesn't, if you have businesses, like if you sign up a couple restaurants, then it's a whole lot easier to get everybody else to join because, like, well, awesome, I can get this money, I can go buy lunch.
And how do you get the
order businesses? Those are the best businesses you can get.
How do you get the businesses to be interested how do you get them to take the currency if there's like what are they getting out of it is what I'm trying to say. Like how can they get value out of it?
Well, with your system, are you doing it? Is yours like a time bank? Is it mutual credit?
Yeah.
So there's no physical; it's all digital.
Pretty much. I was thinking of printing out the physical ones, but making it so that way people can customize them. But that's going to be long in the future because I don't have the money to do that right now.
Well, mine was always physical, and then I added digital later.
Oh, okay.
But we didn't really do much of any digital transactions.
If I had the physical, if I had the physical, I was thinking about, I was in the process of trying to print the physical money, but I'm not very good at designing things. I'm really, really bad at it. So I couldn't come up with a design for it, and I couldn't pay somebody to make a design. And
right.
So if I did have the physical, how would I get the businesses to be all for it if I'm just telling them that I'm creating the money?
Well, the businesses understand issuing gift certificates, and they understand why. Like if just think if you went to a restaurant and you weren't happy with the meal, a restaurant would sooner give you a refund in a gift certificate than give you cash.
That's true. Yep.
Right. Well, that's for the very reason that they would that they prefer using that gift certificate. That's why they don't have enough money. Everybody, most everybody's broke. They don't have enough money. So by issuing their own money, it allows them to basically barter, work within a barter network that they can get other things done. So, maybe if you know how to make websites, you can help businesses make websites. And so now they're issuing money just in the same way that they'd be issuing a gift certificate, and they can pay you, say it's a restaurant, and they can pay you with a gift certificate for a meal in order to make a website for them.
Oh, okay.
So that.
And if there's something that I can't do for them, there's other people in the community that are using the currency that would accept the currency for the business and do things for the business, right? Or work for the business or provide food or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Is there's not enough Federal Reserve notes right now for the things that people want to do. There's not enough money in the system, and it's not distributed well enough. So it's a monopoly that's actually inhibiting our productivity.
Yeah.
The society would be far more productive if there was more money in the system.
Or if money wasn't, it's like instead of being like a doorway, it becomes like an obstacle. I noticed that. Yeah.
Exactly. It's an extra hurdle because there's so many things that need to be done. The highways need to be fixed. Every county should actually have the ability to make its own food.
And it doesn't. And there's some things that where it doesn't really cost money to do. It merely just getting people to do them, and nobody wants to do it unless they're getting paid.
Well, yeah. Well, they're broke. You know what I mean? They're in a position where they can't. You need bank money in order to pay your taxes and cell phone and gasoline and to buy like big ticket items, cars, pay your home mortgage. So the whole system is controlled through the monopoly over the money system, and they only accept petrodollars.
Yeah.
So that's what really needs to get broken down, is to be able to survive with the local currency for food, water, shelter, transportation. And once you break all those monopolies where you can pay for those things with the local currency, then you really got something.
So that's where it is, huh? That's what gets people to join. That's what gets people to do it, huh?
Yeah, you have to have enough businesses, because that's the first thing they do is like, well, great, because the way we say, when we go to the business, we don't say we're issuing the money. We say that the business owner is issuing money in the exact same way they're issuing a gift certificate. The difference is that it's not their own gift certificate. It's a community coupon, basically, that they could spend at any of the member businesses in the network. So it looks the same as everybody else's, and that's really what money's supposed to be. It's just supposed to be something to make barter easier.
So when you give the businesses the money initially, is that just kind of like a sign-on bonus kind of thing?
Kind of. It's backed by it's backed by that they're a local independent business, and they could issue money. They could issue a gift certificate without you ever being there. So if they can issue a gift certificate, they can issue mountain hours. So that's the idea, and we just give them we set it up where they issue 20 hours, which is $200. And if the network was bigger, we can have them do that recurring. Our next thing that we're going to try to do is start recruiting the town to accept the currency for taxes, because once you can, and they actually do that with the Bristol pound in England.
Yeah, because they charge you money in taxes for it, so they should accept it as a payment. You know, it only makes sense.
Yeah, if they want to collect taxes on the transaction, they should take the currency itself. So anyway, that's the idea, is you have to break those monopolies and get the local government to take it, and essential businesses like you don't need 30 T-shirt shops. You need a grocery store and a gas station and a hotel, rent. That if you can pay for those things, that it matters a whole lot more to be able to get those kind of businesses than it does to get the 150th T-shirt shop.
Now, when you say that the businesses can issue their money, does that mean that that's what they would accept from the community, or like where would that money go? Would they hold on to that money and then use it for what they need it for, or are they actually giving it to the customers?
No, the business is issuing it just like they're issuing a gift certificate. Let's say there was a restaurant, and they were totally broke. He had no money whatsoever. He just opened the doors, and he wants to get a website. So he could just issue a gift certificate for a free meal, and then come to you and ask you if you'll take the gift certificate in exchange for a website.
Oh, okay. So they can basically use it at like whenever at the time that they realize that they could use it, basically.
Whatever, yeah, they look on the list of places that they can spend the currency, and that's the whole thing, is you got to recruit businesses that businesses need. But the whole core of the whole thing is barter. Two IOUs equals one barter.
Okay.
And the money is just IOUs.
So instead of it being a chicken, it could be literally anything.
Well, it's the IOUs. The chicken is the commodity. The chicken isn't the money. The IOU is the money.
So the money just represents pretty much any commodity that's within the community, right?
Yeah, it could be labor too. Like making a website that's labor. It's not a physical thing.
Yep.
It's labor. So it could be an hour of raking leaves. So anyway, that's the core of what money is. If you watch the chicken note over, like it's pretty self-explanatory. But that's the core of what money is. It's just a contract, and you can make unlimited number of contracts. The difference, why it's way better than what we've got, is that there's no monopoly. Any producer can issue it, and the producers are issuing money instead of the parasites. And there's no usury. With an hour-based system, there's no inflation. It's not centralized. It's entirely local. There's no monopoly. So it's just a matter of creating the software and to make the new system as easy to use as the existing system, easy and reliable. Once you have that, where it's just as easy to use, this system would be so much better than the existing one.
So, and rather than going into the business and saying, "Hey, I would like you to accept this money," and then not give them any money and just expect them to accept it, you're actually giving them the money and then telling them to lend it out where they need it, and then accept what they want.
No, they're not lending it; they're spending it.
So all right. And what if there's more people that come to them? Like, what if they lend out 10 hours, but
they're not lending money.
Not lending. If they're spending 10 hours in the community, but people come in, say 5 people come in and spend 20 hours, would that create a problem for them, or would they normally accept that?
No. All they're saying is they're making more money than they're spending. What's wrong with that?
Oh, that's true, right? It's hard to wrap my head around this.
Once you have established that it's money, the more of it that you make, the better. As long as you can spend it.
So you just have to get them to see it for what it is, that it's money. You have to make them see that, or you have to try to get them to see that it is money, and that it's not, I wouldn't say better, but it kind of is better. But you have to get them to see it versus accepting dollars, right?
The businesses already barter in most instances, like small owner-operator kind of businesses, the kind that you get at mom and pops. They're used to bartering all the time, so they're used to using their gift certificates that they issue. So this isn't alien to them where you have to explain it that much. They get it.
All right.
So recruiting businesses isn't that hard because it doesn't cost them anything. They're issuing money for free, just like they issue a gift certificate for free. So it's really not that difficult to recruit businesses. It's really the big challenge in the long term is breaking the monopolies like taxes and mortgages, bank loans.
So the places that are heavily that are making a lot of money off of people, those are the people that are hard to convert.
The established monopolies, how you got to recruit your local government to take it for taxes, and if they do that, then it's just it's easy to recruit then. You know what I mean? If you can pay your taxes, then all the businesses will join.
So do you get a lot of individuals that exchange the currency with one another, or is it you said it's mostly businesses, right?
Well, the businesses are mostly mom and pop. They're small businesses. So they're individuals basically. They're small mom and pops. But the idea is that everybody should really have their own business. That's kind of the thought behind it. Is everybody has skills and artistry, so they can make a business. That's just the existing system has hammered them all into conformity.
Yeah,
Where they go get jobs.
It costs too much money to start it. and to maintain it.
So anyway, that's where it is. Recruiting businesses isn't that difficult, especially if you have a physical currency, because it makes it more tangible. I would hate going into businesses where it's a virtual. It would just be more difficult because they don't see it, and because it's not physical, it's a little bit harder for them to buy into and believe it's real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Having the physical first is more. It makes it more authentic to them.
Now, what do you do to keep it from being, or to make, for counterfeiting? How do you, obviously you don't print on regular paper, right?
It's not regular paper, and then the business owners sign the money when they issue it. So it's the same as a gift certificate. They're not having problems with gift certificates getting counterfeited.
Oh, okay.
So it's important to show the process of what money is too. So by the business owner signing them, just like in the chicken note, they're realizing that they're creating money, and that money is actually more valuable. It's actually more valuable than Federal Reserve notes if people really understood what it is. They've just been programmed.
Yeah. If everybody accepted it, it would be a lot, you know.
Yeah, that's all it is. Is that let's say everybody in the world accepted Bitcoin right now. Everybody'd still be broke because there's not enough Bitcoin. But if everybody accepted our money, we could make all the our money that we could possibly need. It would immediately fix everything because there's not an artificial limit to it.
Okay. You ever seen the website Freelancer?
I kind of heard the name, but I don't know what it is.
It's basically you just go on there, you make jobs for yourself.
Oh yeah.
But it's all money.
Yeah, Elance is like that.
Yep, it's all money though. I was thinking about I thought that it would kind of be like that, but instead of monopoly money is what I'm going to call it. It would be this type of money, but people would be able to decide how much, what percentage they would accept. That's kind of what I was trying to go for.
Yeah. What's it called? It's called Freelancer, and they only do currencies.
Yeah, they only do U.S. dollars in the United. Well, they do the mainstream currencies. But if they didn't accept just mainstream currencies and they accepted our money, then it would change everything.
Yeah, that's the whole trick is acceptance. But even then, like that wouldn't be. It's not If a really good software existed that looked and was highly functional and it would, that was just as reliable as, like the YouTube app on your smartphone. If there was a software system that was, more or less just like an app, that's all you really need is like a really good app that you could debit and credit in real time, and then have a physical currency as well that would be matched in hours. And basically, as you're saying, is like if you would trade your virtual for the physical and vice versa at exchange locations, that system will beat any other system down, because if it's not attached to time, how else do you make a currency fixed?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? There's nothing else that's like an inch. You know what I mean? If you could turn money into inches, that would be awesome, because you can take an inch everywhere in the world and know exactly what it is all the time. It never changes. Yep. And that's what money should be. It should be a fixed value. It shouldn't be.
And you
like what's the top.
You can't even fix it by other currencies either, because they constantly inflate the U.S. dollar, so it constantly loses its value.
Yeah. The dollar is always, you already have an hour measure compared to like when people are working, they work for $5 per hour. So that the time is actually the money. It's not that labor time. So if that's already the money, that chi or that time or that energy, then that's really what the money is. So just quantify it in time and keep it fixed, and then just have a base labor value for the unskilled. And then after that, everybody can make multiples, so there's no monopoly and there's no, it's still the free market for labor. But that hour, you can then spend it everywhere in the world, and it fixes everything. Right now, it's just a software issue.
So I should, it would probably be a good idea to make that Indiegogo campaign then, huh? Try to do that.
Yeah, I tried. I tried doing it, and I got very little results. I didn't push it hard enough. But that's really it. I think for maybe like $150,000 or something like that, we could have a really good software system that would be, the best currency that you could create, pretty much. So.
It's just tough.
But anyway, good. I'm going to get going here shortly. I got some projects to work on. But yeah, that's the hurdle is really the software. You can go out and recruit, and let's say you get 100 businesses or whatever. You have to have an end game. Like, what's the end game? Because what happens over time is it's not easy to spend the currency. It's not as easy to spend the local currency as the dominant currency. So it's kind of like if for it really to last, is you have to have an end-game plan to get the local government to take it for taxes. And then that only gets you so far because you have to be able to spend it for gasoline and then for federal taxes. Once you can, get past some of those monopolies, then it has more and more traction. So it's kind of like you have to have a local strategy within an international strategy. They are dependent upon one another.
That's why it's a complementary currency. Now I get it.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why they called it that.
Yeah. But anyway, I thanks for the call and good luck with the enterprise and just
Thank you.
Oh,
can I ask you one more question?
It's good practice to go out and talk to a lot of people about it. And the more you talk to them, the more they'll understand it, and you can get them signed up, and that's kind of how it goes.
All right. Can I ask you one more question?
Sure.
What kind of paper should I use to print the money?
I would go with hemp if you can get it.
Hemp? Is it expensive or?
No. The Ithaca Hours, actually, they did a series where they used hemp paper.
Okay. I'll check it out. Thank you for having this talk with me. I really appreciate it. And
thanks for caring about the issue.
Yeah. Well, good luck.
All right, Devin.
I'll talk to you. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
That was Wayne Walton from Mountain Hours in Colorado. Just had a nice conversation with him. It was great. Let's see if we can do this.